What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? Welcome back to TD PHINSTALK, home of the real Miami Dolphin fans. Guys, we are live here Friday night, March the 27th, 2020. I'm live. I know it's pretty late, guys, but I figure, hey, man, usually on Friday nights, people are going out, having fun, just enjoying the end of a hard week, probably. And for me, on the other hand, um, I'm in quarantine. I'm stuck in the house like everybody else. And I felt that everybody else probably was doing the same thing. So I said, hey, even though it's late, let's hang out tonight, man. Let's hang out and have a conversation. And I'm gonna try my very best to be as real as I can be. I wanted to talk to y'all tonight about realistic expectations for the Miami Dolphins and what our future picture actually looks like. So some of y'all may love it, some of y'all may hate it, but I'm just gonna do me. But shout out to everyone in the comment section already. I see y'all, TD. I'm all in on Deshaun Watson. Ronald, that is like slim chance to none, man. Slim to none. Y'all let me know in the comment section if you can hear and see me just fine. I got the lights turned out. I got one little light going, but y'all let me know in the comment section, yes or no. Can you see and hear me just fine? I'll wait on y'all response before I finish. Go ahead and get started. Let's start it. Let's get this together. Hear you good. Yes. Just the camera fronteros work. Yes, sir. Awesome. I don't know why my other system ain't working over here, but that's all right. I guess I can go without it. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to talk to y'all because at the end of the day, we all share a common goal. We want to see our team win a Super Bowl. We want to see the Miami Dolphins get to the glory road, get to the highest level of football. I mean, it doesn't get any higher than hoisting the Lombardi trophy. And we all want that, right? And then, sometimes I just sit back and I think to myself, one thing I don't want to take for granted. The one thing that I don't want to take for granted is the simple fact that we also have to recognize, man, winning a Super Bowl is a really, 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 really hard thing to do. I mean, it is really hard, guys. You got to think about it. 32 teams try to do it every single year. 32 teams try to do it every single year. And you try to make your team stand above the rest and get it done. It is hard, y'all. It's hard, man. And shout out to Cedric Clemens with the donation. Everybody who donates to the channel, I appreciate y'all love and support, helping this channel grow. Just order me some more lights. Thanks to a lot of you all. That should help make the quality of the picture a lot better. He said, "Hey TD, stay safe, bro. Fins for life. Love you, bro. Same here, Cedric, man. I appreciate your love, man. I always appreciate y'all love, man. Appreciate you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you guys. Um, but I want to let me go ahead and get back in on this, guys, because it's not easy. It's not easy to win a Super Bowl. I mean, we talk about now, mind you, it's been since 1972 since we won a Super Bowl. Okay, 82, 92, 2002, 2012. We're talking about 48 years since the Miami Dolphins have won one. Okay, so let's say every team wins one every 32 years, so every team gets to win. We're past our time by 1.5. That's what we have to understand. We're almost past our time by 1.5. Actually, it is 1.5. It's literally 32 plus the plus the no, it's not quite. Plus 18 years. Okay, man, yeah, 73. Okay, it was the 72 Dolphins that won in 1973 because the Super Bowl is in January or February, depending on the year. But yes, you're correct. But man, we're due. We're past due. But at the same token, when you look at teams like the Patriots and how many times they've actually been to the Super Bowl, them alone makes us just about due. It's kind of crazy because you do like every year, y'all have seen everything that we've been through. We've been through the ups and downs, and honestly, guys, we got to stop. We got to stop with the 2000s. You know, for some reason we basically clocked Dan Marino's tenure with the Miami Dolphins as a success. The truth is, Dan Marino's run with the Dolphins, there was nothing successful about it because at the end of the day, there is only one. Let me repeat that. There is only one indicator of success in the NFL. And ladies and gentlemen, that is winning a Super Bowl. So when I say, man, it's been 20 years since we had something. No, it's been, guys, it's been over 45 years since we've had what we needed to win a Super Bowl in the league. And I wanted to talk about how difficult it is because do you know how many things can go wrong that will not allow you to win the Super Bowl? And what we're looking for is all of those things to go right. We're looking for all of those things to go right, man. I mean, think about it. What if we don't have the right coaching staff? I personally believe we do. But what if we don't and it takes us 4 years to figure out? That's one factor. We've been burnt that way several times. The most recent, Adam Gase. I mean, I love the guy when he came in. Boy, did he get me, man. I might still be okay with him if he would have fired Matt Burke, but he never did. But that's neither here nor there, right? So the coaching has to be right. Then you have to have the right combination of skilled athletic players that fit your scheme to accomplish what you're trying to get across. I mean, you have to have a perfect nucleus that literally prepares. I mean, football is their life. Like what Van Noy said recently in an interview. Say he doesn't have a position. He's a football player. I loved when I heard that. Like you have to bring in the perfect combination of guys who complement themselves, complement each other, and it just works. Not just do you have to have the right coach, the right system and scheme, you have to have the right play calling. You have to have luck in injuries. You have to have an above average quarterback that's playing above average on your run. You got to have a good defense. You got to establish some type of running game. Man, you have to have a fan base that supports you and gets the players up and going. You have to have a general manager that makes the right moves at the right time. You got to have the right owner that's willing to do what it takes. You have to have the right attitudes from top to bottom. You have to have so much. And even when you have all of that, for some reason, it's still not guaranteed. It's still not even guaranteed. Because out of 32 teams, everybody's trying to have all those things at the same time. And who's to say that a few other teams might just have it at the same time as you? And then that makes you have to have more. You have to have more things working in unison together with a little bit of luck. You got to have so much to win a Super Bowl these days. So much. And I know we gripe about it and we whine about it and we say, man, when are we going to get there? But I got to be real with y'all. We got to recognize this. It's never going to be easy. It's never going to be easy. So this is why sometimes I understand. This is why sometimes I do understand. I understand why people go for broke, bring in everything at one time and try to go for it right then and there. And it's been successful. I mean, it hasn't brought many Super Bowls, but it's gotten teams very far. It's gotten them very far. So I understand that. And it makes you very impatient. Like the Eagles, for instance, they went and they loaded up and they won a Super Bowl, but they also don't know if they're going to be to another one in the next 30 years. But you never know. So is it safer to go after a Super Bowl, one singular Super Bowl, trying everything you can every single year to do that? Or is it better to try to build a dynasty? I want to ask y'all that tonight. Which would you rather? Just get a Super Bowl if you can right now, just one, or actually building a dynasty, bringing multiple, even though the chances of building a dynasty are way, way harder, way, way harder than going after getting one Super Bowl. What do y'all think? Plank Titan said, TD, everyone thought the Ravens were perfect this year. Thank you, Plank. That's a perfect example. A team that got everything they need. At least we thought so. And it still wasn't enough. Still wasn't enough. Somebody said dynasty. Dynasty. We building dynasty. Build one. I would prefer a dynasty. Build a dynasty. I love it, y'all. You know why I love it? Because I don't want the one Super Bowl either. I want the dynasty. And the crazy thing is, even if I didn't want the dynasty, I would be forced to pursue the dynasty because that's what we're doing anyway. And that's why I'm glad I actually want the dynasty. Because let me tell you what a dynasty brings you. A dynasty can bring you 20 years of relevance. And I'm not just saying just your name. But a dynasty brings you about 18 playoff appearances out of 20. A dynasty brings you 8+ championship round games out of 20. A dynasty can bring you 5 Super Bowl appearances out of 20. A dynasty is going to bring you 3 or more Super Bowl wins within a 20-year period. That's just the beginning of a dynasty to me. And the numbers can be a whole lot better. Look at the Patriots, right? And Mace Taggart said, TDPHINSTALK, TD, the dynasty begins in 2021. Book it. You know the crazy thing about that, Mace? I want to change your thought process for a second. Because we know what we're building now is going to be special, and you might be right. We're going to win a Super Bowl in 2021. But did the dynasty not already begin last year in February when we hired Brian Flores? Has the dynasty begun? See, most people wait till you've been to 5 Super Bowls in 10 years or something like that to say, man, we got a dynasty. But are we really going to remember when and how it all started? Are we going to do that? See, we got to remember last year. The last year was the beginning of all of this. It was the Miami Dolphins football Great Depression. So many people hurt and torn apart by some of their favorite players leaving. And allowing those to be signs, negative signs of same old Dolphins. Always getting rid of our best talent. When in essence, it was totally different. We got rid of our best talent in the past with the intention on replacing them, still trying to win. And we know we weren't successful at all. But when we went into last year, it was totally different. We got rid of our best talent, and they told us to our face so that we can load up and rebuild. And some people didn't like the term rebuild. They knew what it meant, they knew what it was, but they just didn't want to accept it. They didn't, and some people still don't accept it. They still, under their breath, feel like, well, you all will see. When it's all said and done, we're going to be right back to square one because the Miami Dolphins just can never get it right. But this is why I was preaching it all last summer. This is the best moves that the Miami Dolphins can make by purging this entire team. It's so funny how we first complained about the purge, but now we want to rave about the assets we got from it. Isn't it funny how that works, y'all? A lot of people complained about purging the roster, and now we want to glorify the results we got from it. But how quick we forget all the moaning, scratching, pulling, kicking that we did to get those assets. It's amazing to me. We got to stay focused and we got to stay consistent. Remember what I told you all last summer. First things first. Remember, the Miami Dolphins will no longer be a player team. It will no longer be a player-focused team. We don't have any superstars on our team. Well, I don't care whether you want to believe it or not. Just because their salary looks superstars don't mean they're superstars. We don't have superstars on our team. We don't have a bunch of players that's seeking attention. We don't have all the reality TV show guys on our team. We got guys who are ready to come to work, get gritty, get grindy, do their job, do it to the best of their ability, and win games. That's what we have. A whole bunch of 7s and 8s. Ain't that funny? That's all I ever wanted. That's all I ever wanted was a whole bunch of 7s and 8s. That's it. And I think that we've accomplished that. We've done a really good job accomplishing that. A lot of them, y'all. And I think the roster goes to 55 now. And I'll probably do that on another video, basically grade all the players. I'll be grading every single player on our roster right now before the draft. And then I'll do a grade of the new draft picks and the unsigned players and all that stuff. Quarterbacks are 9s. Y'all remember my rule now. I said that the way I want the team to be built is we have 4 9s or 10s. No more than 4. At a max, we need 4 players that are a 9 or 10. Both of our cornerbacks are well, one of them's a 9 to me, the other's a 10. That's just my take. Y'all can already guess where I stand on that, which one's which. I don't have to go through it, so I'll be called a hater all night. But one of our corners a 9, and one of our corners a 10. Then you have Van Noy, who I think is a 9, who plays like a 10, but he's a true 9. A true 9. Who else on the roster? Is it anybody that y'all think is a 9 or a 10? I think Devontae Parker right now is an 8.5, who's about to be a 10. I mean, who's about to be a 9. And trust me, just because I'm not saying 10, don't feel any type of way. Don't feel any type of way. It's perfect. It's perfect. But there's a whole lot of other guys who are 7s and 8s on this roster. Tons of them. Tons of them are 7s and 8s, man. We got a lot of 7s and 8s now. And shout out to EM Dolphins fan, man. He be putting in our group chat video clips of Nick Needham. And I got to tell y'all, Nick Needham out here putting in work in the offseason, y'all. Nick Needham is out here putting in work. Putting in work in the offseason. I see the drills he running. I see what he doing. I like what I'm seeing. Again, I got to see it on the field. I got to see it on the field. Got to see it on the field. I want y'all to do me a favor in the comment section real quick. Name all the 7s and 8s on this roster. I want to see if y'all can name all those 7s and 8s on the roster. I want to show y'all something, man. I want to show y'all something. All them 7s and 8s on the roster, man. See if y'all can name them. Justin Pro Football Scouting Analysis said too many. That's the point. That's the point, man. It's too many, and I love it. We got guys we don't even know if they're gonna start or not because the 7s and 8s and they're all effective. All effective. If you really go through the roster, man, we're loaded. And some people argue the term loaded. They'll argue it. See, what you got to understand, take Bobby McCain, for instance. At the safety position, he's a 5 or a 6. But depending on where he's going to play, if he's going to be at the nickel, he's an 8. That's where he even got paid. That's why we gave him all the money at the nickel. He's an 8. So Bobby McCain did say he's right now the plan is for him to remain at the safety position. So that's going to be interesting to see how that goes. We'll see at camp. All this is what this guy's going to do and that guy's going to do. That's going to change in camp. We'll see where these guys end up. Eric Rowe. I would say Eric Rowe right now at the safety position is a 6.5. Could be a 7. I still don't trust the safety core. Okay. Who else we got? Raekwon McMillan, 7, about to take another leap to an 8. Lawson, come on, y'all. He's an 8. Vanoy, we already gave him his grade. Godchild up the middle. See, in the run game, you can ask for more. But Godchild's a very effective player, and I'm telling you, that's a 7 right there. He's a 7. Christian Wilkins, 8. 8. Ogba, he an 8, but some will argue he 8.5 on his way. It could be a 9 with the right amount of snaps. Some could argue that. I'm just saying. That's just my thoughts on the matter. Okay. Preston Williams, if he comes back the way he was before the injury and taking that next level, that sophomore step, 7-8, 7 on his way to 8. That's real. Preston Williams is the one y'all better watch out for. That's the guy. That's the guy, man. Albert Wilson, if healthy, 7, 8, in the right scheme at least. Mike Gesicki, he's been playing. He was 2 years ago 6, and now I believe he's about a 7. How he came on late in the season, he could still grow. Devontae Parker, 8, 8.5. You can argue that. I didn't even mention the new running back in the backfield, Howard. I think he already an 8, maybe even. That's arguable. I say an 8. Fitzpatrick coming off one of his best seasons in the NFL, 7, 7.5-ish. Come on, man. Flowers at his position, I give him a 7, 8, 7, 7.5, close to 8. Karras, depending on what position he plays, 7 type guy. The worst him is a 6.5. The best him is a 7.5, but can we get an 8 out of him with this coaching staff? I don't know. The guys that have to step up to even that we need to step up to come to a 7, guys like Dieter, guys like Davis, Davenport, those guys. They got to step it up, man. I didn't even mention Nick Needham on defense. Played 8-level football last year. Played 8-level football last year, but I don't think he's going to be playing corner much. He might actually be in the nickel. We'll see how that works out. Jakeem Grant, 7.5 guy. See, and as I keep naming 7, 7.5s, and 8s, these are good players, man. They don't have to be. See, Jakeem Grant ain't got to be Odell Beckham. He ain't got to be a 10. He just need to be his 7.5, and that's all you need. It's a lot of guys. A lot of guys, man. Jerome Baker in coverage is a 7. In coverage. Yeah, Vince Beijel, however you pronounce it. It's a lot of guys, man. We got a lot. And then I didn't even mention the draft picks, man. All 3 of our first-round draft picks, their first-round draft picks, they should come with a grade of a 7 or higher in the first round, period. All players drafted in the first round should be a 7 or higher day one. Day one. Day one, man. See, that's the difference between the teams that have 6 and 7, 9 or 10 rated guys. They can't name as many 7s and 8s that I just named. They can name a whole bunch of 5, 6, and 7s. May said, TD, the draft is going to tell the story. Would you trade a 5th rounder for OBJ, TD? A 5th rounder or the 5th pick? Because a 5th rounder, yeah, you would trade a 5th rounder for Odell. But I think you meant the 5th pick overall. Please clarify. Because if you meant a 5th rounder, what I care about the 5th rounder for if I'm getting OBJ? It's really the salary. Do you want to take an OBJ at the salary that he has? That's what that is. 5th rounder, of course you do. But again, it's the salary. Do you want to take the salary is the real question. See, some people see receivers get traded, be like, man, how did that team get him for a 4th round pick? Really? And you think to yourself, why in the heck didn't we would have gave a 3rd? That guy's so good. The reason why some of the good guys go for 4th and 5th round picks, look at Landry. We gave away Landry for like a 4th or a 5th or something like that. Jay Ajayi we gave away for like a 4th or a 5th. Y'all remember all that? But their value as players would tell you it was 2nd round or 3rd round at least. But it's also the salary of these guys. You're not just trading away a player. You're trading away that salary. TD, honest. Would you trade all 3 firsts for Burrow? My honest truth on that, okay? Initial answer to that question is no way at all. That's my initial answer, okay? I wouldn't trade that for anybody. But I will say this. If I evaluate my roster and I'm loaded and I got all this draft capital, you have enough assets to take a chance. It's just how much of a chance do you want to take? And I still wouldn't take 3 first rounders for Burrow. Now, tell me we had a phenomenal offensive line already. We had the running back of the future. We didn't have the safety issues that we have right now. Tell me all of that, and we still got all these assets. Yeah, I'll go ahead and give you 4 first round picks in 2 seconds for Burrow. Tell me all those things are straight right now. We just ain't got a quarterback, but we still got all these assets. And I give you all 14 picks for Burrow. I mean, I would. Y'all get my drift, though. You get my drift. I wouldn't give away everything, but I would make the trade for the 3 first round picks. But that's not the reality. The reality is we still need 3 offensive linemen to feel good about. We still need 2 safeties. I mean, we're going to hope one of them works out, maybe both. But I'm just saying right now, I don't feel comfortable with it. So we need 2. That's 5 players right there. That's 5 players right there. And I still need my quarterback. That's 6 players, man. 6 players. 6 players right there. I still need a nose tackle. That's 7. I still need another tight end. That's 8. We had about 15 holes before free agency. We still got about 7. I know I just came up with 8, but to me, we still got about 7. We still got 7. So when people talk about, well, you got 14 draft picks, listen to me, ladies and gentlemen. When it comes to day 1 starters, the only people I care about are 1st and 2nd round picks. Now, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th round pick, yeah, one of them might surprise us. 2 of them might surprise us and start, whatever. But what I'm telling you right now, all I care about is 1st and 2nd round picks. So that means we're going to bring in 5 players that we hope are going to start, earn a starting position day 1. And that's not even going to happen, by the way. So you're hoping with 5 picks that all 5 of them work out, when statistically you'll be lucky to get 3 of them work out. Not to mention, if you do trade up to grab a guy, then you only got, if you give away 3 first round picks, now you only got 3 picks in the first 2 rounds. And out of those 3, 1 or 2 might work out with the 8-hole team. And it ain't like you got more assets next season. It's not even like we're going to be big free agent market players next year. Let's get that straight now. We're not going to be big players in free agency next year. What y'all have to understand is the roster that we're going to construct this year, man, for the next 2 years, ladies and gentlemen, this year and next year, we will maintain about 80% of the roster. This year and next year, we will maintain about 80% of the roster. 80% of the roster. Okay? We locked down on these contracts right now. Not in a bad way, ladies and gentlemen. Every player on our roster, we should be given at least 2 years anyway, unless they're just that bad. So we need to actually get a lot right now, so that next year, somehow we have to go into next season saying we need to upgrade 3 positions. Of course, you want to upgrade every position you can on the roster. We know that. Every chance you get, if you got a 9 guy and you got a chance to get a 10 at the same price, whatever it is, however you want to look at it, you should always be doing that. You should be wanting to upgrade 55 guys if you can. Period. We get all of that. All right. I understand that. But let's talk real here. We want to be able to go into next season. This is a win for the Miami Dolphins if we can accomplish this. If we can go into next season, next offseason saying we got to fill 3 holes. and have one piece of depth at every position that's reliable. Ain't got to be great, but reliable. No less than a 6 at every position. People think that may not be much. Oh, just 3 players, 3 holes? No. And 1 player behind every single position as depth, at least a 6. Okay? Oh, shout out to Night Wolf with the donation. Said, TD, good seeing you on, bro. Hope you and your fam are doing good. Anyways, hashtag fins up, getting hyped for the draft. No matter what happens, it's going to be fun. Yes, it is, sir. Yes, it is. You better know it, Night Wolf. You better know it. It's about to be electric, man. But I'm sitting here trying to think to myself, how can we go into next season with 3 holes and every single position with a reliable backup, no less than a 6? Because that's when you're ready to compete. That's when you're ready for a Super Bowl. Well, actually, I'm talking about going into the offseason like that, but accomplishing those things as well in the offseason is when you're ready. You're ready to compete for a Super Bowl. But right now, if we have 8 holes on the roster and a few depth issues, that means this draft, we gotta this year we gotta say that we need 5 guys right now and a few depth pieces to be on track. And I think we already headed there. See, when I say 5 guys, Eric Rowe can be one of those guys if he turns the corner. Eric Rowe could go ahead and wipe that down to 4 if he actually becomes a great safety. That's the reality. Jerome Baker could become one of those guys if he could be a good linebacker, if Van Noy can have an impact on him. Julian Davenport can become one of those guys if he could, get stronger at the left tackle position. Get stronger. That's what that kid needs to do. Just get stronger. Julian Davenport can be one of those guys. Hell, as far as I care, Patrick Laird can be one of those guys. We already got Howard. We know we want another running back, a good depth piece, but Patrick Laird could be one of those guys. Can Dieter get better? Can Jesse Davis get better? All of these guys. Nick Needham, can he go ahead and be one of those guys that reduces the amount that we have to get in the draft? However we slice it. Guys have to show up and solidify their role on this roster. They have to. We got to get it right. We've been put on the clock, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you the clock we've been put on. 4-year clock, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we're about to be put on, a 4-year clock. Why are we on a 4-year clock, TD? Because there's no secret that we are about to, how do I want to say this? Not find, but choose is the best word to use. We are about to choose our franchise quarterback. And when we choose that guy, we are going to go all in for that guy. See, what you don't want is to choose a guy and end up benching him just like we did Josh Rosen. because whoever's behind him is playing better football. See, what we don't need during this entire rebuild process in this window is to not know if a guy is the guy. Y'all know how y'all used to always say about Tannehill, right? Well, we just don't know. Well, in this group over here, we know he just ain't it. In this group over here, get him what he needs. He is it. Oh my gosh, we cannot have that. We cannot have that. We got to know what the guy is. And literally, we got to know within the first year now. And it's unfair to gauge any player in the NFL just off of 1 year. I'm going to say that now. It is so unfair to gauge any player in the NFL off of 1 year. But you at least have to see attributables, traits, behaviors, certain things that tell you, even though he isn't what you want him to be right now, he's going to be all right because I can see where he's going to improve and where he's going to get better and he's going to be our guy. But what we can't have is after year one of a quarterback, us not knowing if he has the potential to get better and grow. Oh my gosh, what we don't need is that. We can't go into year two of the new quarterback and treating it like Dwayne Haskins. Some might disagree with me on that, but listen, I ain't all the way sold or impressed. We can't have that. Because what I will appreciate and what I will love is the fact that, and y'all should be happy about this for the Miami Dolphins. You should be real happy about what I'm about to say. For the first time, if we get it right in the draft, we still got to do that. Oh my gosh, please get it right. But for the first time, we'll be able to fairly evaluate every position on the field. That's what you have to create, ladies and gentlemen. You have to create an atmosphere where you can evaluate every position on the field. What do you mean by that? Well, in order for me to truly evaluate the quarterback and know whether they're the future or not, let me make sure I remove all the quarterback's excuses. Make sure I give the quarterback receivers to throw to, not some bums, but at least average or better receivers to throw to. Let me make sure I give my quarterback protection so that he's not entering into the league getting abused. Let me make sure we have a good running game to take some of the pressure off of our quarterback. And let me make sure that we have a great game plan and good play calling to our quarterback strength to help them be successful. And if they're not playing at least above average football with all those factors, ain't got to be no Mahomes. But if they ain't at least playing above average football, even if we still see the arm and we still see the good traits, if they're not playing above average football with all those factors, move on right away, Miami. Because we haven't had that. We haven't had all those things for our quarterback like all these elite quarterbacks have. We got to remove excuses. What about everybody else, TD? Same thing applies. How can we truly evaluate a running back if there's no holes for him to run through or the defender's already in the backfield before he gets the ball? We got to remove that. So we got to address the O-line. O-line is priority one right now. Priority number one. How do we know if our receivers are good? By giving them a good quarterback, by giving them an O-line that gives them time to run their routes. Remove the excuses. Remove the excuses. How do we know if the corners are good? Well, we got a pass rush. There is no excuse. We're not going to have a case of, well, we're out there covering for 10 seconds. You can't ask anybody to do that. Guess what? We got a pass rush. We got a good on pass down situations. I don't know if y'all realize what we got on that defense. On 3rd and 10, with Van Noy, Christian Wilkins, Devon Godchild, Ogba, Raekwon McMillan, Shaq Lawson. Do y'all realize what we got? Oh, we gonna get to the quarterback, or at least pressure him and rush him and hurry him. Ain't no more 6-second quarterbacks holding the ball for 6 seconds. These guys are relentless. They want the quarterback. They're relentless. Relentless. So the corners don't have to worry about covering for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 seconds. So no excuses. None whatsoever. Linebackers, you have no excuses. We don't need you to sell out on a run and let the play action kill you over the top anymore because of the scheme we run, plus the guys we going to have up front. Still need that nose tackle, though, to remove any excuses. Still need the nose tackle to remove any excuses. Safeties, I don't want to hear nothing. You got two of the best corners out there. I don't want to hear a thing. I don't want to hear nothing. Your position has actually been relegated to what it's designed to do. Help. Help. Zero excuse now. You got guys that don't even need help, and you get to help. Zero excuses. That's what you have to build. A team like that, where there are no excuses. And you got to have the guys on the bench that aren't starting ready to take a position, ready to take a spot. So if you're not performing, we got guys lined up to jump right in on you. They ready. They want this shot. They want it. This is how you build a team. I can't wait for practices. I can't wait to see who's getting the better of who. We actually have a defense that will force the offense to play good football, so we'll know if it's real or not. All last year in camp, the offense putting up these, Fitzpatrick throwing it everywhere to Devontae and this person, that person. They getting touchdowns over our corners. That's all we heard. Of course, I'm streaming on draft night, bro. Stevie TV, just to let you know. But that's all we heard last year in camp. How well the offense was moving. And we start the first freaking 6 games acting like we can't even score 4 points a game. Sitting here getting beat 100 to zip, feel like, in some games. But no, you can't hide this year. Offense, you ain't about to bully this defense. You're going to have to earn every bit. So we know when it's game time, you're going to earn every bit. And I love it. And with a Chan Gailey type offense, with the way that this league is going now, our defense is going to be so much more prepared. The defense is going to be so much more prepared going against a Chan Gailey offense every day. Whew. I can't wait, man. Some of y'all don't understand what's coming up. I can't wait. I can't wait to see it. I can't wait for the first snap. Can't wait for the first snap. Training camp, I can't wait for. Cannot wait, man. Because and some of y'all may have it mixed up. Y'all may think I can't wait because I just can't wait for football. Nah, man, my mind operates a little bit different. I just can't wait to see who faking and who not. I can't wait to see who we need to replace because the sooner we know, the better. I can't wait to see all that good competition. Then the guys who hiding behind whatever, they get sniffed out. I can't wait to see who doesn't belong because the only thing that matters to me are the ones who do. I can't wait. I can't wait. Christian said, how do you know what Flo wants? In regards to what? I'll be looking out for your response so I can answer that correctly for you. How do I know what he wants in regards to what? His team or what he wants to draft? Or, I mean, what do you mean by that? You think Flo wants an injury-prone QB to him? Oh, in regards to that, what do I think Flo wants? Flo wants talent. Flo wants a motivator. Flo wants someone who can learn and is eager to get better. Flo wants someone who is just talented. Flores wants a guy like Tua, but Flores is methodical. He's weighing the pros and cons of having a guy like Tua. Do I want this guy coming off all this injury, and what will he cost? Would I be wasting a 5th overall pick if he lands to us? And we got all these other picks. Or do I go ahead and get Brown with the 5th pick? A guy who I feel right now is really going to anchor that middle, and I know he is. Good eyes, good hands, good feet. So what does Flo want? Flo wants to make the decision that's going to be best for the Miami Dolphins long term. And I'm sorry, if Flo is the type of guy that I think he is, just like Greer, there's no need to take a chance if you don't have to. See, the main thing that matters is, are they going to have to? Because I'm going to be honest with you. When you really break it down and think about it, you got Tua Tagovailoa and Brown on the board at 5. That's the big hiccup right now for a lot of people. What would we do? The people who love Tua is going to say, oh, they're going to grab Tua. What makes you say that? Because you want him? There's a lot of speaking things into existence right now going on with the Miami Dolphins. When the truth is, we don't know. TD doesn't know. The people who say we're going to get Tua doesn't know. They just want it to be. So I don't blame them. Speak it into existence. It's what I would do if that's what I wanted. So I get that. But you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised what they're thinking in that front office. Or you wouldn't be. Because it's exactly what you're thinking. That we're grabbing Tua or we're not. Shout out to G Firm said, you have to add context as to why we looked too inept at the start of the season, my brother. Absolutely. We know why we looked inept at the start of the season. Because we traded away all our players and guys had to build some chemistry, new coach, new system, bad line of scrimmage. I get all of that. But the crazy thing is, not much changed late in the season. Some of our best players actually got hurt, and we performed better. I mean, we almost deactivated all of our great players except Devontae Parker, and we got better. Guys had to settle in, settle down, understand the flow of the game, the speed of the game, what the coaching staff was asking of them. But back to what I was saying, guys, I just hope that we make the right decisions. I'm not the general manager, and this is why I don't get paid the big bucks to do this. Because if I was really in this position, I can understand why it would be a hard decision to make at number 5. Some people, it ain't that hard to them. Oh, just grab Tua, or oh, don't grab Tua, or whatever. This would be a hard decision to make. It really would. I personally feel like we need to focus primarily on filling our holes first without giving away any extra capital. That's number 1. Another thing, if you think that the Miami Dolphins will not be trying to solidify the nose tackle position, because if we're not going to do it via trade, how many options do you really have in the draft if it ain't 5? How many options do you really have in the draft to start day 1 if it's not at number 5 overall? And I personally feel like, when we were trying to go after the Jadeveon Clowney, when we were trying to make all these defensive moves, trying to keep Minka, I told y'all this last year. I think that we're going to build the defense in its entirety first. And if you notice what we did in free agency, it's right in line with what I've been saying, that this defense becomes priority over anything. This is Flores, who is he definitely believes in the same thing Bill Belichick believes in this regard, at least. It's hard to lose a game if the other team can't score. And Flores knows he has a good defense right now, but if he had that rock solid nose tackle in that middle, it would be even better. But I kind of get a little skeptical because I wonder, do they technically feel like they have all they need now and coaching needs to make up for the rest and scheme needs to make up for the rest? Or do they really feel, because some of y'all may not know this, but we did pursue a few safeties in free agency. That's one thing that I've been researching and doing work on lately, is seeing who we pursued that we didn't bring in. We pursued a few safeties in free agency. I believe it was 2 targets that we were trying to go get and we couldn't get them. So we basically abandoned that. It's part of the reason why I think that it's going to happen in the draft, obviously, as well. Because we wouldn't be pursuing those positions as heavy like we did in free agency if we 100% were sold on McCain Rowe, those 2 guys. We may be sold on one, maybe, but both, no, because we were going really heavy in free agency for a starting caliber safety. So I know they want to fix this defense. We also pursued, from my understanding, a few nose tackles that didn't work out, whether it was monetarily or choice of where they wanted to go. So I know that that's going to be a priority position to fill. I know it. And on offense, that's the crazy part. That's why I'm looking high and low about the guys that we tried to pursue on the O-line. I hadn't heard a whole lot. And the ones that we did pursue, we got. Y'all know who those guys are. Excuse me. And Flowers and Karras. Karras, however you pronounce it. Please, McCain, back to nickel. I ain't gonna lie, that's why I love the talent that we have. We sitting here saying, please, Bobby McCain, back to nickel. Then where Nick Needham gonna go? Just the backup? There's gonna be a lot of people playing football on this team, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of guys are gonna be playing football. Thoughts on Herbert, TD? Another good player who has great potential in this league. See, I'm gonna tell y'all now, the way that the NFL works, it's going to be a guy like Love or Herbert that ends up being the best player out of this draft in the NFL. Or it can be Hurts. It can be I think that the best player, the best NFL player in this draft at the quarterback position won't be Tua or Burrow. Maybe, the odds say it will be them because they're going to get every shot possible to do something. But I think it might just be another guy when it's all said and done. See, is Joe Burrow going to end up being Cam Newton? An MVP turned looking for a job? Is Tua going to be Cam Newton? Who knows? What's up, guys? Hopefully we're back. Let me know in the comment section if you can see me. Let me know if you guys can hear and see me. Hopefully we're back. That was on me, man. I literally, it's a cord that was in front of me, and I pushed my leg forward, and I literally kicked the internet cord all the way out of its box, which is interesting. So I had to put it back in, and then it had to boot up. So CN here, you cool, awesome. I'm glad that it didn't stop. I'm glad that it's still going. So it's gonna be a stop for the playback, but that's all right, man. We're back though. We are back. All right. Thank you, sir. TD, what happened? The internet, man. We're back though. We're back live. We're back live, guys. Think we should be good now. But yes, like I was saying, man, everything is a decision that we have to make. The scary part is all the decisions have to be right, and any of them that we don't get right, we have to be able to recover from very fast. We have to be able to recover from them very fast, man. It's still going like Tua. I don't know what that means. Love Burrow and Tua, like Love and Gordon. So if I was the GM, though, what would I do? Real talk. If I was the general manager, let me pull up my screen share first. Let me pull up my screen share. All right. So if I was Greer, right? Here's what I would do. I would come to this offense. Well, honestly, with my first overall pick in the draft, the way that I'm feeling right now and what I would do, I would go ahead and get Brown at 5. If I can, I will go ahead and anchor my middle, and I would get Brown at 5. Okay? Now, the second thing that I would do, I would take my 18th overall pick, and I would try my very best to trade with the contending team. I would take a team like hypothetically, say, let's see, who's a good team? A team like Baltimore, who personally feels like they're going to be in the playoffs this year coming and the year after that. So they're looking at 2 late first round picks. So I would take 18 and I would trade it with Baltimore, who I don't know where Baltimore is, but if I was to guess, they're probably somewhere like 27 or something. I don't know. Y'all got to tell me. Baltimore probably drafts like 27. But I would take their 27th pick, and then I would take their 2021 first round pick so that they can move up to 18 to get them a really good piece. Some team that would allow me to get their later first round pick and their next year first round pick at 18. And then at 26, I would go ahead and grab me the best tackle that I can find in this draft. And whatever pick that I traded from 18 on top of that, I would go ahead and I would actually grab me another tackle in this draft. Either a tackle or a right guard. That's what I would do. One moment, guys. Let's see. Hold on. And Finsanity, if you're still watching with us, I'm about to drop the link if you want to come join me. Let me see here. All right, so that's the first thing I would do. So my first round would be Brown. It would be offensive tackle and an offensive guard. A right guard in particular, by the way. That's what my first round would be. I would go into the second round and I'll grab me another running back in the second round, and I would also grab me a safety. And I'm not going past that. Everything else to me is a project, okay? Just so you know. Everything else is a project. I'm not going past that. But that's my first round this year, guys. I know it's not sexy. I know it's not beautiful. Everybody isn't excited about it. But we've addressed the safety position and we've addressed the nose tackle position. Defense done. Defense done. Not only is the defense done, on the offensive side of the ball, let me pull that up. I now can probably put Karras back at center. I got a right guard, and I got a right tackle maybe. And I got Flowers, and the only wild card is Davenport. Do you see how that works? Look at my offense with Karras at center, Flowers at left guard. My draft pick in the first round is at right guard, and my right tackle is in the first round. And the only thing on this entire offense that's questionable is left tackle Davenport. Do you see how we go from a defense being done? I just completed my defense. Of course, we still want to upgrade things next year, the following year, and get a little better in some areas maybe, but my defense is ready for war. And now I'm talking about my offense, and the only concern I got is my left tackle. In GPP Central, stop that mess. Left tackle ain't the most important position, especially if you're a tour guy. The right tackle is more important. So however you want to look at it, whether we do a right tackle or a left tackle, however you want to look at it, however you want to look at it, whether it's right tackle or left tackle, either way, it gets addressed in the draft. And the only issue that I got left is one of those tackles, whatever the opposite one is. I didn't have to give up anything. I didn't have to do any of that. I still got Fitzpatrick for the year. Ladies and gentlemen. Doing his best with Rosen still developing. Now, if you notice what I did there, I was able to allow us to have 3 first-round picks next year. Right back again. 3 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, right back again. It happened again. We did it again. But this time we go into 3 first-round picks and 2 second-round picks next year with the defense that's ready. And an offense that needs a potential another tackle. But we got 3 first-round picks in 2 seconds. Can anybody say Trevor Lawrence? Can anybody say Trevor Lawrence? And he ain't going to be the only one. He's not going to be the only one available. It's going to be another young stud coming in the draft next year. I mean, watch. Now you're in a situation where you need your quarterback and you need a tackle. And you got 5 picks to do it and another free agency next year to possibly get that tackle. But you don't think, I don't care if we end up with the 16th pick next year. I don't care if we end up with the 24th pick next year. Houston's pick plus the new first-round pick, that's 3 first-round picks. And I don't care if we got to give up 3 first-round picks and 2 seconds just to move up to number 1. But you got the team and you dropping the quarterback in on top, like a cherry on top. That's what I would do. And trust me, I'm humble enough to say it could be the worst decision our franchise ever makes, or it could be the best one. We still don't have to rush, ladies and gentlemen. Keep feeling this team. Keep feeling the team, man. Keep feeling the team. Somebody said they want a QB because fans want to win ASAP. That's the problem. We're the worst at it. We don't have the patience. All these draft picks in this draft, I would fill every single hole on this roster except quarterback. Because if you get the quarterback you want anyway, you probably got to give up some of the assets to get him. And the crazy thing is, we talk about sitting the quarterback for a whole year anyway, whoever we draft. So that's another thing. So we're going to sit a guy for a whole year and won't even know if they're going to be able to handle it until the year after. So we have run the potential risk of wasting 2 years before we even know if we need to move on. 2 valuable years that some of the guys on this roster now, we probably ain't going to be able to re-sign again a second time. I know y'all say, nah, start him, but that ain't, I think that we don't just start guys anymore at the quarterback position. I mean, if he's playing lights out and he learned the system in camp, Flores will start him. I know that. I'm confident in that. But I also feel like with Fitz here, they're not going to be in a rush to start a guy, even if he learns the system. I know they will, but I don't think they'll be in a rush to do so. I personally say with them first 5 picks, man, y'all don't even understand. TD is a different breed when it comes to the draft. If I had my, like, I'm gonna be honest, say I could even go wild on this thing. I would take the 5th overall pick and trade it with the Raiders for like 12 and 27, whatever 2 they got. 12 and 19, I believe. I say, here, Raiders, here's number 5. Give me a 12 and 19. Then I'll take number 12 and I'll go ahead and flip that for 2 picks. Give me 17 and your next years, so whatever. That's the type of person I am. Man, you'll look up 2 years later and my next 3 drafts for the future got 4 first rounders each. That's the type of person I am. Do you realize how valuable number 5 is? You can get 2 firsts for a 5. You can get 2 firsts for a 5. Some people would rather number 5, but I'd rather 2 firsts because everything in the first round, you should be finding starters. You should be finding starters. So number 18 pick is just as good to me. I mean, look at Tunsil where he fell. Didn't he fall? What did Tunsil get drafted again? Was it like 12 or 15 or something like that? Where did Tunsil fall to us? Y'all let me know because I forgot already. TD, if you have time, do your mock draft now. Mock? Ooh. You know what, man? That's a good one. Shout out to G Firm with the donation. He said, we can't rebuild in a year. We're in position to grab a QB at 5. We should do it. We got 2 first-round picks next year. Priorities, we need a new engine first. We'll worry about the interior later. LOL. Always pushing it off. Talking about it later, G Firm. We're going to get enough of that later for all these other positions. See, that's what we got to realize too. Just because we have the capital to draft next year, like say we got 2 first rounders next year, right? Well, we can get 2 offensive lineman starters next year. That don't mean that they going to end up working out to be good. You also got to factor that in. See, when we look at 14 picks and we look at 5 in the first 2 rounds, some of our minds like, hey, the first 2 rounds are at least starters. And we just automatically think that they not going to be Charles Harris. For some reason, we automatically think that they're not going to Charles Harris us. Out of those 5 picks, if you're lucky, 2 of them will work out, ladies and gentlemen. If we're really good at what we do, 3 will work out. 4 out of the 5 or 5 out of 5 working out, you're lucky. Let's get that straight now. If you draft 5 players in the first 2 rounds and all 5 of them end up being starters and really good, you are lucky. If 4 of those 5 end up being really good players, you are lucky. If 3 of them end up being good players, you're really good at what you're doing as in picking them. If 2 of them turn out, hey, that's fine. That's about right. If 1, just 1 out of all 5 of them, that's tough. That's how it works. Shout out to David Smith with the donation, said, taking QB is smokescreen. Source says Rosen is very much improved. Hey, I ain't gonna lie. If that turns out to be the case, it's gonna be one of the biggest smoke screens of all time. But again, David, if you know me, I'm glad you put that comment because that's right down my alley. That's how I am. I'm not going to discount it. You could be very well correct. I'm not one of these guys on here. Rosen's done. They're guessing. Yes, odds don't look good in his favor, but I'm not writing the kid off. I ain't writing him off until EM hand him that bus ticket Flores gave him. At least that's what he claimed. But that's real talk, man. I'm with that, man. We'll see. I'm rooting for the kid because we all, not all of us, but a lot of us love a comeback story or, started from the bottom, now we here, all that good stuff, man. Some of us love that type of stuff. So, of course, just for that reason alone, I hope Rosen turns out to be the guy. For that reason alone. But at the end of the day, we all know it's always going to be a situation where time will tell. G Fur back at us again, said, how did an A+ defense serve the Bears last year? It didn't serve them well enough at all because they didn't win a Super Bowl. I mean, I can say the same thing about the Patriots, a historic defense. That's how they started, at least. People don't realize, I believe it was 3 games where Brady didn't even throw a touchdown, and they won those 3 games. It's defense. So I get that. You got to have a team overall, man. But if you think quarterback was their only concern on that roster, go evaluate the Bears again. You got to go evaluate the Bears again. You have to. Bad QB play, TD. I know, but it wasn't the only thing. See, it's easy for us to go with what the media's been around here pushing. But y'all really going to say that quarterback was the only thing on that entire roster that caused them to lose last year? I mean, how did y'all check out how they ran the ball? Or their lack thereof? Did y'all check that out? Come on, man. And if you got a good running game, you have better QB play. Did Tannehill not teach you that? Come on now. The facts are all out here in front of y'all. What's up, Finsanity? What's going on tonight?
Oh man, you got me at a bad time. I had to make shift and kind of put this together really quick, guys. Hopefully you can hear me.
I can hear you.
Okay. So I was just wow, last minute. But it is what it is. Hey, hi everybody. I've missed you all. Definitely. It's been a very hectic, crazy last week. It's gonna be a week tomorrow. So the Pats were in contention, the Bears weren't. QB. The Pats were also in a very horrible division, and the Bears had the Vikings, the Packers, and who's the other one in there? Chicago, Packers, Bears, Vikings. Oh, Detroit. Well, Detroit kind of fell off after Stafford. What's the name? But Scarborough and oh my gosh, who was that quarterback they had? Oh, hi Clemente, hi DM.
And not to mention the Pats had the quarterback that you're saying that we need to get, but what was their downfall? They had the GOAT.
They didn't have a run game. What's good for City?
Nothing. What was their downfall?
Who, the Pats?
Competent receivers.
Yeah, they were just injured a lot. And then people forget N'Keal Harry only played like half a season. Mohamed Sanu was a shell of himself. Dorsett was dropping a lot of passes. Go watch our game. I mean, the fact that I can still mention their wide receivers. Remember, they even had Izzo. They had a lot of tight ends. They had Izzo. Then they had Watson. Then they had someone else too. So, thanks, Joel. Hi, Brandon.
I wonder why the Ravens got kicked out.
What? You know what the Ravens always come into, and it's really sad. They get to the playoffs and their run game disappears. And that's like the last 2 years. Like that's what I saw. Just not being able to stop Henry, that was just a minor factor, but not being able to really run the ball. And they kind of took the tight ends out, drop passes, even that one tip pass that got intercepted. It was a tough game to watch, needless to say, because I'm watching my fantasy running back, run amok, but he didn't do that the first half of the season for me. Could have won me a couple more games.
Wow. And then somebody says the Bears, wait, let me read this. Okay. It said the Bears, wait, no.
Who the Bears signed? They signed
yeah, they said the Bears have decent running backs. The coach didn't give them carries. That's why they had no run game. Oh, so it wasn't just the quarterback then. Even if we want to take the blame off of the running backs, then sounds like that's a coaching issue.
But that just goes to, everyone, no one's ever going to let the Bears live down not taking Mahomes or taking Watson. So no matter what, they feel like they have to overcompensate for oh my gosh, Mitchell Trubisky. Sorry guys, I'm really trying to get back into a football mind on the fly. They're trying to overcompensate Mitchell Trubisky so they can say at least we got some production out of him before they dump him off, because that's what it looks like it's going to happen, which is really really sad for them. Listen, double doink. That's come on. The Bears were really hot the season before. Double doink, that forever will be infamous to them. You can't even probably go to a Bears fan and say double doink because they were this close. That defense and what they had going that year, that momentum was uncanny. And then Khalil Mack, I don't know where he was last year, but that's neither here nor there. It happens to the best of teams. I mean, it does. That's like I was telling you guys backstage, 2021, because of who we're playing in the schedule, that really is the time to strike lightning in a bottle. We should make a playoff run. I'm not saying win a Super Bowl or anything, but it is so hard because every team, you have 32 teams always competing no matter what. And when you get when every now and then you get a favorable schedule, and if you do not take advantage of it, you're going to be the worse off for it, because contracts will be coming up, negotiations will be coming up and the team that was so great that you put together, if they don't get it done in that span of time, good riddance. People are going after their money. They have mouths to feed. They have,
Exactly. That's why you got to get it done, and we got to get it done quite fast. It doesn't have to be next year. But we have to be moving in that direction pretty quick.
Is Anthony backstage? I know he wanted to talk to us. I know he's a Patreon, so I didn't want him to feel anyone, because I haven't talked to these guys in so long, TD. Oh my gosh.
Who, Anthony Manzano?
Anthony Manzano.
He keeps coming backstage, but I'm seeing an icon without him on there.
Okay. Well, so TD, I mean, it's late. Maybe he just wants to talk with his talk.
I want to bring him forward. What I mean is, when you first come on, If I see you and I see you moving and stuff, I usually bring you on. But what happens, he comes on a lot and his icon shows, but not him, not his actual. So I like to see people first so that I can actually make sure that they're appropriate and stuff, because
Justin says we have a 3 to 4 window for a ring. We actually have longer than that, and the reason why we have longer than that is because of the veterans that we brought in. We'll be drafting their replacements, and hopefully they get trained up and taught up, so you can just implement them in and keep the thing going. So the window is a lot bigger than what we think, but I do understand your thinking behind that, Justin. I just think that having guys that can teach the defense this system is something that can be sustainable. And I think that's what we didn't really preach too much about the Patriot way, is that they were always getting ready for the next person to step in. And if your shot came and you could do it, think about Butler. Someone goes out in the freaking Super Bowl, he steps up, makes a play. Now he's considered one of the best corners in the league. He goes to Tennessee and he's getting beat by everybody. So I mean, sometimes it's just your circumstances of where you are, but hopefully the guys who are here, Van Noy and bringing in having Rowe there, and oh my gosh, Landon Roberts, having those guys there to teach the various cores. Hopefully that can create some stability and some sustainability that we haven't had, because the one thing that we've had in the past is that plays were coming and going, and it seemed like we were always just trying to puzzle in a big name piece, but they didn't know what we were doing. So they were trying to do what they were doing where they were, trying to bring it over here, and it wasn't working. You can't put a block puzzle piece in a circle puzzle piece. For those who have kids, the frustration they go through. So that's what that's how I can equate it to. So hopefully that's what Flores did. And if you look, we got 2 linebackers with Roberts and Van Noy. Rusher Van Noy, so he can teach the rushers like that. You got Rowe in the secondary, you can teach those guys. So it's gonna be very interesting. Thoughts? Sorry, TD, I'm taking over. My bad. Go ahead.
Do you?
No, because I'm trying. I'm reading.
I'm trying to figure out this icon with Anthony's because I know he's backstage right now. I'm trying to undo this.
Thoughts on Herbert?
Yeah.
Okay, here are my honest thoughts on Herbert. Okay, I believe if we were to bring him, and this is what I was just telling TD, ironically, if we really are going to give a quarterback a year to learn and develop, like a whole season, then why not go and get someone who you could actually develop and mold into who you want to be for 2021, right? Like, so I think if he comes in with the mindset of understanding that he's here to learn, he's here to not turn over the ball, use his athleticism when needed, because you don't want your quarterback taking too many unnecessary hits outside the pocket. Then sure, why not? I mean, if we draft him, I guess we have, the great thing about it is we have big receivers who have great wingspan. So no matter where you put the ball at, if it's in the area or vicinity, they're going to try to snatch it and grab it. So you don't have to be 100% accurate. It's kind of like when you're trying to hit guys like Jakeem Grant or Albert Wilson, if they're still on the field, that you kind of got to be a little bit more accurate, especially with the deep ball if you're going to be using them for their speed. But guys like Preston and Parker and Isaiah Ford, they seem to find the ball, and that's something we don't really give them too much credit for. So you don't need too much accuracy. You want to be accurate enough, is what I like to say.
Awesome. I just wanted to read G Firm with the donate said Brady wasn't the problem. Pat's wide receivers were last in separation and had no tight ends. We have good receivers and a good tight end. I like Fitz, but if he's our starter, the season will be a wash. I'm not sure, man, because again, if everything is great on this team, it doesn't have to be a wash season. There's been worse quarterbacks that won Super Bowls. So
I didn't talk about Gesicki. Oh, someone said you would take Herbert knowing he's never took a snap in the center. Well, like I prefaced my comment by saying if you're going to give him a year, I'm pretty sure a year you can take a lot of practice snaps underneath center and what's the name? Catch radius. There you go. You can fix that.
What's up, Anthony?
Like that. It's not And I'm pretty sure he's taken some in midget league, Pee Wee's, Pop Warner, somewhere around there. Just because they didn't ask him to do it, or just like I said, just because they didn't ask you to do it at your college program does not mean you do not have that skill. It's just the type of offense you are in. But I did preface my comment by saying give them a year to develop the things that they need help in development in.
TD, if you're gonna be doing, if you guys are gonna do a mock draft,
I know you
I
disagree,
recommend
Justin.
don't use
No one thinks.
don't use the draft network. Use a simulator called First Pick. It's free. All you have to do is sign up, and it allows you to trade up and down, and it actually grades your picks.
Okay, so if you could send that to me in a message, because I could check it out, and then probably on the stream going forward use that, because I like the trade simulator.
No, that's what I'm saying. All you have to go is on Google and search it.
No, I know. I just like to check it out before I don't want to learn it right here in front of people and then trying to figure it out. So
it's pretty easy. All you have to do is sign up. It doesn't teach you how to do it. It's fairly easy.
Wow, king of the AFC.
So that's what I'm saying, Anthony. When I go live tomorrow, I'll probably, because I'm the type of person I like to see something before I actually use it, though.
And honestly, I was having a conversation with Justin, and it's a bit harsh saying that Justin Herbert is like Paxton Lynch. When I look at him, he has the same issues that Stafford and Ryan had coming out of college. Accuracy problems and like consistency with his throwing motion.
So you don't like Herbert?
No, I like Herbert, but it's just harsh saying he's Paxton Lynch. To be honest.
That's what Justin said?
Yeah.
Would you draft Herbert at 5?
No.
I wouldn't draft him at 5. Maybe trade down to number 9 with the Jaguars and get number 20 and draft him there.
So draft him at number 20.
No, draft him at number 9.
Okay, and also add number 20.
Yeah,
this is the funniest thing though, TD. Like, people ask us a question and about our opinion on someone, and then people automatically assume that we want that player. Never said that. I just said that if you're going to give a guy a year to learn, to develop, then yes, go ahead. But I never said I wanted him.
That's pretty typical. Every time you'll just answer a question, but people think that you're for it. But that's how that works.
And I agree with what you were doing, TD, like trading number 18 to the Ravens and getting an extra pick.
Or anybody who has a late round pick and get in their next year's, if they want to move up and get their guy.
Yeah, and if it's a smoke screen that we might not draft Tua and go with Rosen and stuff like that, honestly, I would like that as well, because we're not giving Rosen a fair chance, to be honest.
So tell me, what do you think about Rosen's game?
We overlooked the fact that he didn't have an O-line he's a pocket quarterback. His playing style is kind of like a Tom Brady or Phillip Rivers, where he stands in the pocket and throws the ball. He doesn't move that well. He moves well, but he doesn't rely on running the ball like Lamar Jackson or Kyler Murray like that. So you can't really compare their two rookie seasons, because just he needs to have an offensive line to protect him, because he's a pocket quarterback, not a mobile quarterback. You guys agree?
Well, yeah, I just think what I saw last year, I think Rosen can get out, but it's just not one of those flashy type get outs, being able to avoid the pressure.
His pocket scrambling is more like a Aaron Rodgers. He uses it to extend the plays inside the pocket, kind of.
So do y'all think this kid actually has a shot in this league anymore? Like, we'll keep it real.
Yes.
A shot where, Anthony? Tony.
Here in Miami, honestly, if we give him a fair shot.
So
and
we're
we
not
don't
drafting a
draft Tua.
quarterback.
Yeah. For me,
You don't
can't
think
trust
we're drafting a quarterback?
We might draft, honestly, at 5, I'd rather draft an offensive lineman like Tristan Wirfs or something like that. And maybe wait till 18 or trade up to 13 with the 49ers and draft Love at 13.
Wait. You think Love is going to be there at 13?
Yeah, he's going to be there at 13 because the Jacksonville Jaguars actually said they're going with Minshew. They're not going to draft the quarterback.
What did the Raiders say?
They're not going to draft the quarterback. They're staying with they signed Mariota and they have Carr.
Mariota got like what, a 2-year deal, 3-year deal, something like that.
Yeah, 2-year deal.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine it being 3, and it's probably only 1 guaranteed.
Listen. Raiders might be looking at next year with Fields and Lawrence.
And I think the quarterback class next year is a little bit deeper. This quarterback class is, I think, too top heavy with Tua and Burrow.
So who's the better quarterback, Trevor Lawrence or Joe Burrow?
Overall, Trevor.
What about you, Fincenti?
See, that's because a lot of people want to knock Joe for the previous year. Well, when I really looked into the offense that they were running, it kind of was redundantly dumb to ask him to be productive in that, especially in the SEC. How are you only sending out 2 wide receivers? Really? That makes no sense. I love Trevor Lawrence's game for what it's worth, but I mean, Clemson has always had stout defenses. LSU's been okay. Trevor goes against a lot of lesser competition. He's not in the SEC. He's doing that in the ACC, which is basketball country. No offense to the Florida States of the world, because I know you guys are in there, but
I'm a Hurricane, so I understand what you're talking about.
So, let's be honest. When's the last time the ACC has actually been competitive and consistently having multiple teams in the top 25?
And I actually like Fields over Tua, to be honest. Fields is he's a bigger version of Tua, and he's more athletic.
So hold on.
Lawrence looks better, but
so this is why I'm asking these questions. Let me I want to give y'all a few more questions. So y'all give me the answer. I'm gonna keep asking them so that I can get through them. That's why I asked, was it Lawrence or Burrow? And what I'm hearing right now is Lawrence, correct?
Oh yeah.
So Lawrence or Tua Tagovailoa?
Lawrence, all the way for me. He has no injury history.
Don't be a homer, Finsanity. Tell me which one better.
Man, listen.
Lawrence or Tua Tagovailoa?
Tua.
So you go with Tua. It's better than Trevor Lawrence.
Healthy Tua, yeah. Yeah. Tua did, like I said, they're doing it in a tougher conference. You're talking about 5 stars across the board. You're talking about Auburn, Bama. There's a reason why that is every year one of the highest rated games. You're talking about the SEC championships. I'm sorry, you kind of chalk up the ACC to Clemson every year. It's go out there and don't make mistakes. Now, Trevor is an amazing quarterback. I do not negate that at all. But there's levels to where you're doing it.
So let me get this. I'm gonna throw a wrench in there. Fields or Tua?
Fields for me.
Fields or Tua?
Is your only knock on Tua his injury? Is that why you're not saying Tua?
No, I'm just saying.
No, I'm asking Tony. I'm not saying what's in him.
No, I'm trying to figure out who y'all think is better. This ain't even about his. I'm actually considering a Tua without the injury. That's the conversation we having. Tua without the injury.
I'm not saying because of the injury. I find that Fields is a better overall prospect. He has the accuracy and the arm strength. Tua he's accurate, but his arm strength is not that. Like, he doesn't have elite arm strength, is what worries me, and stuff like that.
So you put Tua over Fields as well.
I really can't wait till Tua like really starts airing this ball out for y'all to see.
Well, he got to get on the field first. I mean,
Like, I really
have a question for you guys.
I really can't wait. Like,
he
I
got to
really
air
can't
out
wait
his
for
hips
y'all to really
first.
see it. Huh?
He got to air out his hips first.
Insanity and TD, I have a question for you guys. With a guy like Joe Burrow, do you think it would benefit him to go to? I understand Cincinnati's number one, but do you think it would benefit him to go to a warm weather state where he doesn't have to deal with cold weather all the time because he doesn't have a strong arm and stuff like that? So would it benefit to him to maybe go to a place like Miami? Or I know Miami doesn't want to trade up, or you guys don't want Miami to trade up.
In this league, I don't think it should matter. I don't think it matters.
Because they said Brady always had trouble gripping the ball when he played at in cold weather and stuff like that, playing in Pittsburgh and stuff like that.
Or New England.
No, not in New England. Like,
yeah,
but
but
if he comes to Miami, he's gonna have to play in New England. I get like if he goes to the AFC North, then yes, there's a higher percentage of games that'll be in the cold. You talk about Baltimore in the winter, it's vicious because it's definitely by water. You got Cincinnati, Steelers, and Cleveland. So yes, but I mean, what quarterback wouldn't want to play in warm weather? I mean, it's just more comfortable. But I mean,
because you got to play games in cold weather regardless in this league. So
no, but Sharif,
got to put it back.
For a quarterback who has small hands and doesn't have the elite arm strength like a Justin Herbert probably can throw through the wind. Is what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
But he got the job done.
Yeah, that's why I don't think it matters. I don't think it has that big of an effect.
And no one, and my thing is like this: if an offensive coordinator, that's his job. If he knows that this guy can't do it, look at Lamar Jackson. I mean, a lot of those underneath throws were the tight ends. We all know Lamar Jackson has arm, like we've seen it. He can chuck that ball. But they weren't asking him to do that a million times a game, just chuck it down the field. And that's what we get in our mind. The game is fundamentally about getting first downs to the point where you get to the end zone. And we lose that because we get so enamored and in love with big plays because that's what we as fans want. But the one thing, if you look at Tom Brady's last minute drive, it was always get the next first down and move up the field. Just get the next first down, get in the field goal position, get wherever we need to get to. So I get what you're saying, but at the end of the day, Lamar Jackson didn't have a problem moving the ball up the field and throwing it on us. I mean, just all you got to do is complete the pass. Whether it's 10 yards, 12 yards, 20 yards, a completed pass is a completed pass, and yards add up. So it doesn't matter that you don't have to throw the ball. Like now, like granted, if all you have is speedy receivers, then yeah, it might behoove you. I mean, look at Baker Mayfield. He struggled getting the ball to OBJ. Jesus Christ, cost me a lot of touchdown prop bets. But was that because of some people say, oh, it's because OBJ had a groin injury. There's like so many excuses. No, it's because Baker Mayfield does not like to. Well, he didn't no longer like to throw balls into like windows. But I mean, sometimes quarterbacks, when they get in the NFL, their mind is don't make the mistake, right? Jameis Winston threw all caution to win and said, man, listen, if I make a mistake, I make a mistake. Now he's left without a job. But get the first down. I know we love big plays. I would love to see Jakeem Grant running 50 yards downfield, past every safety, past everybody, and someone airing a deep ball out to him 3-4 times a game. That's why we love Kansas City. Why? Because Tyreek Hill, no matter what you do to him, you can put 5 safeties on him. He's going to run past everybody. You could put 10 people in the end zone, and somehow Tyreek Hill will be past everybody in the end zone.
Let's get back to Tua, guys. I have a question, actually. Let's say, hypothetically, the Chargers trade up to number 3, where the Lions are. Which of the quarterbacks that are left in Herbert or Love fits the best in our offense skill set wise when you look at their tape?
That's funny.
Both. I think both of those guys, at the end of the day, you're looking at it as a project. So as far as fitting as a scheme, well, they both have the arms and the attributes to get it done, but at the same token, they wouldn't look at it as fitting as a scheme. They look at it as developing a guy to fit the scheme, because he'd have to learn. He'd have to be able to make the throws. He'd have to be able to do it with exotic defensive packages. It's just the rest of those guys are developmental guys that probably won't start day one anyway.
Oh, and so you don't think the scheme matters for Justin?
Yeah, of course. Well. Let's understand something about a quarterback. See, when we talk about scheme mattering, like when you look at what Jordan Love and Herbert has as far as their strengths, they fit the mold. They fit the mold. I mean, what was that?
They're tall and have really good arm strength, and their body is a prototypical size for a quarterback, is what you're saying.
Yeah, but that's just the general quarterback. See, when we say scheme fit for a quarterback, unless you're running a zone read and the option and things like that, do we really talk about scheme for a quarterback? At the end of the day, the quarterback has to be able to deliver the ball. So do we really, really, really talk about scheme fit when it comes to quarterback? Because if you're a quarterback in the NFL, you should be able to make all the throws, right? Otherwise, you come up short.
Okay. Listen, after what Devontae Parker showed us last year when he decided to when they decided to throw him the ball. Let me not say he decided to show up, because I think he was really out there trying to play, but we're gonna chalk that up. It really don't matter. The man was like, there was like 3, 4, 2 people on him. He's the one coming down with the ball. Strong hands, high point. So at this point, it's kind of like, that's why, like, when people, like, I'm not going to get on this rant about Fitz, but when people really start praising Fitz, like, go look at some of them throws into double and triple coverage where he's just throwing it up to Devontae, and Devontae's really just out muscling these guys at the highest point. So, I mean, when you say with our wide receivers, if you're saying go out there and throw the ball to Devontae Parker, I mean, like, really.
And guys, I have a question. As Dolphins fans, let's say, hypothetically, Peyton decided to come to Miami instead of going to Denver.
Peyton?
Do you think Miami would have been in the playoffs consistently facing?
You talking about Peyton Manning back when he went to Denver?
Yeah, before he decided to go to Denver.
I remember who was on our team back then.
No, because we didn't have the defense to support Peyton Manning's deficiencies at the time. We didn't have the defense. I mean, at the end of the day, it would have been a great quarterback throwing the ball, probably would have won us 2 or 3 more games, helped us win 2 or 3 more games. But for the ultimate goal of winning the Super Bowl, we didn't have the defense for that.
Okay, so it would have been it would have defeated the purpose, is what you were saying.
Yeah, that's a perfect. I'm glad that you said that, because people always say it's about having the elite quarterback. People forget, man. Like we all know, Peyton Manning couldn't even throw the ball. This man won a Super Bowl and couldn't throw the ball 2 yards down the field, and that's an exaggeration, but you get my point. So,
yeah, I think we talked about this. We were talking about Peyton Manning once, and I think I told you that he didn't start to use his brain when until he lost his arm. But you're like, no, he always used his brain.
Yeah, he did.
We didn't notice it until he lost his arm strength, is what you're saying.
Bingo, because he always used his brain. He did it with his arm strength and his skill, and it was a thing of beauty. It's just that's what allowed him to win a Super Bowl when he did lose his arm. Was his brain had to compensate for what he couldn't do physically. So at the end of the day, he made the right plays. Just imagine you knowing you cannot throw the deep ball. Safeties knowing that you can't throw past 40 yards. You see what I'm saying? The cornerbacks know that they're not really that concerned about a go route unless it's thrown 1 second after the ball is hyped. So we're 2 seconds in, the ball isn't thrown. I'm not worried about the deep route anymore. This is either a comeback, a dig, a post. You see what I'm saying? Like the defenses knew what they were playing against with Peyton. And him using his brain to still be able to carve you apart all through the middle of the field with slants. He was just killing you with his mind. He called the perfect defense without even needing to go over the top.
One word, Omaha.
Omaha. Well, Omaha is more complex than people think. I mean, it could be the way you say it, how long you say it. Omaha, it's all kind of stuff. Peyton said Omaha can mean 1,000 things. And they're going to change every week. So
when you look at the young quarterbacks in the league right now, is there any young quarterback in their 20s, early 20s, mid 20s that is close to Peyton Manning or Tom Brady, like
mentally?
Mentally yet or no?
Not any that I see, because we've built
Patrick.
No, not even close, because he doesn't have to show that side. I mean, these guys don't see. This is the point that I make to people. They want the easy footballs because they don't have to have it hard anymore. See, Peyton played in the era where it was a little bit more physical, and then it transitioned into easy football. That's why he was also able to do what he did late in his career, because these guys now, they call a play, and very seldomly do they audible. And if they do audible, they're audibling into the second play that they called in the huddle. Do you realize when they're in the huddle, they're calling 2 and 3 plays? So if the first one doesn't look good, they say something like Omaha to switch to the second one. But that ain't what Peyton was doing late in his career. That ain't what Brady usually does. They're audibling a totally different play based off of what they see, not one that's predetermined. Peyton Manning will go out there and literally at the line of scrimmage draw up a whole new entire play that ain't even in the playbook, and basically telling all his players what to do, walking across the line of scrimmage, giving them their assignments, doing this motion to that wide receiver, telling them which route he want them to run, doing it to that wide receiver, checking the back to make sure he knows his assignment. And it's a totally different play that the coaches don't even know sometimes. And when he says hike, he gets his 18 yards. That's the difference. Patrick Mahomes calls 1 or 2 plays in the huddle. If the first one don't look good, he goes with the second one. He hikes that ball and makes something happen. These guys don't have to think as much anymore. They don't have to be that intellectual and diverse with their offensive play calling. They don't have to be the offensive coordinator, in other words.
Yeah, the perfect example basically is I was watching an interview with Ed Reed when he was talking about like the best quarterbacks he's faced, and he said Peyton Manning. He hated playing Peyton Manning because he would be set up to intercept his ball, and Peyton would basically read his eyes, Ed Reed's eyes, and throw it to the other side of the field in the middle of his throw. Basically, he would switch to the other side of the receiver because he knew Ed Reed was reading his eyes. So he would basically outsmart Ed Reed, and Ed Reed is the smartest safety of all time, basically.
And that's that game knack stuff. You hear what Ray Lewis say about Tom Brady. He says on your day off, if you ain't got that clicker in your hand like Tom Brady, you ain't going to beat him. And that's what he had to learn. That's when Baltimore beat the Patriots, because he had to learn. He had to put that clicker in his hand, watch so much film of his opponent, know what they love to do, know what they don't like to do, know what looks they're in, so that you know how to see. Tom Brady does the same thing. He'll audible at the line of scrimmage. You think Grontman was just having it easy? Tom Brady will see how the linebackers are off center or whatever, and then he'll switch the route for Gronk. They'll do all type of stuff like that, man. And let me say this. Those things are hard. to be the ultimate quarterback, see, you don't have a playbook in your head. You just know what route based off of the defense that you see will beat them. They're in a zone. I know what route in this zone concept will beat them. I know what route in this man concept will give us an advantage. When you know all that stuff and you watch film on their tendencies and what they like to do, you can put your team in a great situation. And I don't see none of these new quarterbacks are doing any of that. But it's not their fault. Look at Patrick Mahomes. He's a few years in the league. He shouldn't know how to yet. But at the same token, I'm not seeing the little remnants of starting to do small little characteristics that would say that he's about to be doing that. I don't see any of that. See, when you give it to
Back
these
to
young...
the Dolphins, guys.
What's that?
Back to the Dolphins. Do you think in Dan Marino's prime, he would have lasted in this league a lot longer than he was playing when he was playing in his prime?
You mean right now?
Yeah, right now with all the rules.
Easily a yes.
Well, every quarterback would have. You know, the last quarterback of that era to extend the. Do you know who the last quarterback of that era to extend their career?
Was Michael Vick came in 1990, right? 1999 or something like that.
Well, think about it. What was the first quarterback to give you a lot of years in this game? The first one that pushed the envelope.
Brady.
No, not Brady. He wasn't the first.
Marino.
No, it was he went to Minnesota. Brett Favre.
Oh, Favre. Okay.
Favre was the first one.
There's one. Oh man, I'm having a mental blank. No,
he pushed the envelope. I just hit that. Hit that 2 hour mark, man. But I'm about to get up out of here, guys. I'm getting a little restless. We're at 1:15 a.m. I wanted to come hang out with y'all for a little bit tonight. So
have a good night, guys.
Same to you, Anthony. TD Burrow can do those things. No. You know what's crazy? Before I get out of here, because I'm about to go, but you're right. I saw some of that in Burrow. That's what actually, because I'm gonna be honest with you, I wasn't high on Burrow. Let's get that straight now. I was not high on Burrow. But one thing I'll tell you is I saw a little bit of that this year in his audibling in several big games. Literally going through the line of scrimmage, changing their assignments, talking to the running back, giving signals to the wide receiver. Burrow has that potential. That's what I like about Burrow. Everything else, you're playing with elite players. It is what it is. I still need to see you with a bad team around you to really know how I feel about you. But I did like that about him. I did like seeing him make those type of calls. Any last thoughts, though, Finsanity? I think you muted. We can't hear you. I can't hear you, at least.
Sharif West, he has something to say. He asked me to read it, so I'm going to try to be nice. You can't hear me?
Well, I think there's a delay. Go ahead and say what you need to say. I think it's just a delay.
Can you hear me now? All right. Can you hear me now? You can't hear me. Can you hear me? No.
No, I can hear you. I just think there's a delay.
Okay, so Sharif asked me to, I think that's how you say your name. Hopefully I'm not butchering. And he says, to me, the enigma is someone will have a clipboard. Love is not beating out Fitz. Sorry, Love is not beating out Fitz tomorrow to start. Yeah, no, I was just reading the comment. Tua will play week 17, maybe, and Burrow will not have any protection, and Dolphins have all these options. Final thoughts. It was great seeing you guys on Monday. You guys will be more than welcome to come and talk and give your analysis of what we're going to be doing. We're going to talk about the draft and it being on schedule and what that means. And
Oh, I think she just cut out. There was a delay. I didn't know when she finished talking or not. I hope she's good, but her screen just cut out. But yes, guys, I guess I'm about to get up out of here. I'll hit her up via text. But I appreciate y'all tuning in tonight. This is TD PHINSTALK, home of the real Miami Dolphin fans. Love y'all, love y'all, love y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in, guys. I will see y'all tomorrow. Peace.